Hey, Delaware. We are back with another episode of That Delaware podcast. And before we get into what we did this weekend, I just want to introduce our guest. We have Jake here with us today.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
We are so excited.
So happy to be back.
Yes.
I know. Is it like deja vu coming back to the office?
A little bit. Yeah. Walking up the steps, I'm like, we're back.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. So do you want to introduce Jake and tell everybody who he was? Or
So-
who
He
is?
was.
Who he was. Well,
Is
who he is.
Jake started with the team. What year was that?
2021.
Was it 2021? Mm-hmm. Back in the original office.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Jake's an OG Rosaio Team member,
Yes.
and he is now doing new construction. So we don't get to see him as much anymore, but we love him, and he is going to always be an honorary Rosaio Team member.
Yeah. I will say, I'm all about celebrating the wins, and a win that I want to celebrate on the podcast took me about 2 years to bully Kristen into getting an iPhone, and she finally got one. I text her, I'm like, hey, I really want to be on the podcast, and the bubble was blue. And I'm like, hold on, did I text? I only have one Kristen Rosaio in my phone. I'm like, did I text the right person? And I'm like, wow, there we go. It worked.
There's growth happening over there. Yeah.
I still don't understand why that is such a big deal as a lifelong Android user to have switched. But do you know how many people messaged me and they were like, did you get an iPhone? Immediately.
Really?
I definitely did. I was surprised when I texted you and saw the blue, and I had to ask. I had just had to double check. I was like, did you get an iPhone? And you were like, yes.
We're all proud of you.
The bullying continues,
It just makes some things easier.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, I like my phone. It's great, but whatever. Good segue, Jake.
So Jake's here, and what did everybody get into this weekend?
So this weekend we did, my family and I, we did the Attack Addiction 5K. This is my third year doing it. And this year we decided to do our own team in honor of my mom. So there was about 12 of us. I think over 3,000 people came though. It was a really big turnout.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was a really good time. And hopefully next year the group will be bigger and bigger. And it was a lot of fun. And it turned out to be a really good morning. It was chilly, but by 10 o'clock it was warmed up and sunny. So it was good.
Was it windy? That I know was windy later in the day.
Later in the day, yeah, we had the showings later on that day and the wind just picked up. I'm like, okay, it's time to go. But it was a good weekend. How about you guys?
It was good. I stayed busy. I always want to do the Attack Addiction run, but I always find out the date of it last minute, and I've already planned something else.
Yeah.
But any opportunity to support, anything with addiction, is a lot of people connect to that, right?
Absolutely.
So it's affected you directly or indirectly,
Right.
So I think it's a great cause, and I love that a lot of people.
And it's in Old Newcastle.
And it's an old Newcastle, and that's my spot. Yeah.
I worked this weekend. That's what I did.
You're so responsible.
Every weekend.
You work every weekend.
Every weekend.
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, wow.
10 to 6.
Okay. Well, it's funny. We're like, well, you work every weekend?
Oh, so do
we.
Yeah.
When's the last weekend you had off,
So
Amber?
do we. Right. I know. Yeah, we're like, oh my gosh. But
But we don't have to clock in. I think that's the difference.
yeah, I guess it just feels different.
I
But
don't
yeah.
start until 10. Whereas realistically,
Okay.
people are calling you 8 a.m. Hey, I want to go see this house today. And
Yeah.
it's more of a schedule that I can
Right.
stick
It's
to.
more, it's structured, and we know you love structure,
Yes.
and I love that for you. I need more structure in my life. So you work this weekend. Were you guys busy? Jake works in new construction.
Yeah, we were busy this weekend. So the last snow we had, up until this past weekend, it was slow. And it really was the switch of the weather. We had Saturday was warm, had a bunch of people. Sunday, yesterday, cold and windy, nobody.
Yeah.
So this is really the time where it's the weather kind of you're like, oh, the weather. No, seriously, the weather.
Yeah, the weather is a motivator
What
for sure.
dictates people
Yeah, it
to come out
definitely
and see houses.
dictates my decisions to do things, to go outside, like clean out my car still needs to be done. Don't look in my car.
Yeah.
But I love that.
Yeah.
So did you close any deals?
I had one that was about like a week long. So this one was virtual.
Okay.
I work in Magnolia, so we're right outside Dover Air Force Base. Get a lot of military. So when they get orders to come into Delaware, they have to start their home search. So this one was all virtual between 3 different houses that I had. I'm like, we got to narrow it down. We figured it out, and I got that one done on Saturday.
Nice. Congratulations.
I love selling homes virtually. You think like, oh my gosh, but it's I feel needed. When you go like look at houses, it's like, okay, yeah, we can go look around ourselves, but then it's like, you need me.
Yeah. Well, also like you're a wealth of knowledge. Like
Yeah.
when you're giving that virtual tour, you can tell them, the small details, explain the small details.
You have to. 'Cause
Yeah.
like you have to point it out so they
Yes.
see it, they know what they're getting into. When
Yeah.
you're in person, it's like, okay, yeah, I can see, the doors are this style and
Right.
flooring and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So
And sometimes, I guess in ways it's probably better because sometimes you assume that people realize things in person that maybe they don't realize when it's virtual. You're like going the extra mile to like make sure that they understand
Yeah.
that they, understand things and see things.
Yep.
Nice. So I think that is going to segue to our topic today. We're going to get into new construction. We're super excited to talk about that, some different features that we love and kind of navigating that process. Yeah.
Let's start with some questions. Since we have Jake here, we might as well pick his brain. What would you say are the most important things that buyers should ask their sales rep when they're touring new construction?
I would say it starts before you even come to the model. So if you know that you want to see a community or your realtor says, hey, I think this would be a really good community for you, get on the website, look at the floor plans. That's going to make your appointment so much more effective, right? You already know what you kind of want. That might change as you're exploring, but getting a good idea of what you're looking for is a good start. From there, obviously, you're going to be looking at houses, looking at home sites, stuff like that. Some big things really to understand before making a purchase decision are a couple of things. You want to get your hands on the HOA documents. Every community now, there's an HOA. HOA fees are different. You want to know what's included, how much it is, how frequent it is.
Right.
That's a big thing. And then looking at those deed restrictions to see, can I have a fence? Can I have a pool? Can I have a shed? How big can my shed be?
Right.
So those are really important things to know. So when you do make a decision and you have plans to do stuff in the future, you're set. Another big thing is going to be your deposit. So the cash you need up front when you enter the purchase agreement. For us, we only need $10,000. That's it. Other builders, it's 10% of the purchase price, 5% of your options, and then $60,000 more before you close. So
Wow.
it can get really different depending on what kind of builder you're working with. Another thing is, before you leave, you want to know what house obviously you pick a house, you want to know how much it's going to cost and everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
Some builders can't do a full cost estimate. We have the ability to run a cost estimate to show you what your total cash to close and your total estimated monthly payment is in the office. So it's really making sure that you're doing all of the things, getting all the things so you can make an informed decision. Because the last thing you want to do is roll up, oh, it's pretty, and then buy it. We've seen that, done that. You want to make, it's a big deal because not only are you putting down so much money to have a house built, we as the builder are also investing a lot of money in this house that you've picked out. So it's a big deal for everybody, and it's not something that we take lightly, and we want to make sure that you have a good experience and you're happy with the decisions you made, and with that comes some due diligence on the buyer's part.
Absolutely. And you don't want to risk your deposit.
Absolutely not.
And that I love that because I feel like that aligns so much with how we do things on the team. We want our buyers to be super informed.
Yep.
And we do ask them to ask certain questions of their lenders so that we know what is your purchasing power, because it might be way different than what you originally thought.
Yeah.
So I love that you guys do that.
Yeah, and what's nice, I mean, like for me, when you walk into a DR Horton home, the price you see on the MLS is that exact house. That's how much that house costs because we've already included all of the upgrades. We're an inventory builder, so we build before we sell. A lot of times people get payment shock when they go and look at other builders where it's a little bit more custom. They see a price and they're like starting from $359, and then you walk out and you're like $450 after all you pick all your stuff. So definitely you want to know what house you like, how much it's going to cost with everything that you put in it, if you have the ability to make those selections.
I love that because we want that information up front for people.
Yep. And then, you know, when you look at new construction, you want to make sure that you budget enough time for your tour. If you're seriously considering a new house, appointments take about an hour and a half start to finish, you know, and if you do your homework, you know, that shaves some time off, but there are a lot of questions that you don't know you have until you're there. So it's really getting through all of that. So you want to make sure you have enough time as well. It's not kind of like a come and go thing. You know, you can go and show a house and you're there for 10 minutes and then it's like, yeah, no, not really feeling it. You know, you want to definitely set some time out of your schedule if you're going to go look at some new construction.
And always bring a real estate agent.
Yes, before you come, before you go to the model.
Yes.
Always have your realtor with you.
Yes.
Or else we can't represent you.
Yeah.
And then we can ask some of those questions.
Yeah.
While you're looking at the pretty house, we're asking all the hard questions of the sales rep.
Yeah. Right.
Do you guys have any questions?
Actually, I do. What kind of like amenities? I'm seeing a lot more communities, not just like the 55 plus, but like the new construction communities having like clubs and pools and like that sort of thing. Are you seeing like more pools or just like clubhouses?
Big thing that we're seeing, so with any amenity center, a big thing in Delaware, especially Southern Delaware, pickleball. Pickleball is the thing.
God.
The hot
And
thing
they're
to do.
doing outdoor pickleball. They're making spaces for indoor pickleball, you know, so pickleball is the thing. Definitely your clubhouse, the exercise room, the swimming pool, the splash pad, all of those things that you'd expect in a community with amenities. But I would say the big thing is pickleball.
I love that.
It's the whole thing now. Like if you're not doing pickleball, what are you doing?
Right.
Right?
That's so true.
That's the
feel
sound
like-
bite.
Pickleball is all the craze.
Yeah.
All the craze right now. I've not played it, but
Neither have I. I have a pickleball court in my community. And I'm like, I'm going to go do pickleball.
yeah.
No, haven't.
So you
have it.
I have it. I have a bunch of amenities. That's another thing too. Like a lot of people are drawn into these communities with amenities. The more amenities you have, the higher your HOA fee is going to be. So for example, for me, I love my community. My HOA fee is $350 a month. I have unlimited golf, pickleball, bocce ball, tennis court, clubhouse, pool. I only use the pool. So you really have to think like in your search too, like, yeah, all these amenities are great, but how much of it am I gonna use? For me, like looking back, one of the things that I possibly would have changed in my own home purchase is, you know, the pool was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And I was wowed by all the other stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna go play golf. I'm gonna go play pickleball. I'm gonna be outside. I'm inside on the couch. I am. Unless the pool is open, I'm inside. So definitely prioritizing what's important to you and not just being wowed by all this stuff. And, you know, like I'm guilty of it, you know, as a sales rep, we want to show you all the things and all of the stuff. But really as a buyer, like you have to say, is this realistic for me? Like, am I going to be playing pickleball? Do I need the golf membership? Stuff like that, because you're paying for it, whether you use it or not. You know, that HOA fee is still due. It's not voluntary.
Yeah.
Now, do those go up?
They do. So every community obviously is different. Every year, for the most part, every HOA is different, but every year they'll do a budget. So whether it's community maintenance, pool maintenance, whatever type of maintenance the community needs, if the cost of that goes up, so will your HOA fee.
Just like a condo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's so funny. I have new clients and they're moving from Pennsylvania to Delaware, and they're like, we do not want a community with an HOA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can appreciate that, but you also have to understand that HOAs are so different in each community, and some of the HOAs here operate like, you know, just like civic association.
Right.
And maybe they just cover like snow removal,
Yeah.
something like that. But when it comes to new construction, most of those communities do have a higher HOA because they do cover more.
They have those amenities.
Yeah.
Now, like for when I see people in my community in Magnolia, our HOA covers common area maintenance and snow removal of the streets. HOA is $20.83 a month. So people look at me and they're like, that's it?
Cool.
I'm like, yes.
I'm in.
That's it, right? And what that really, I mean, the HOA where I'm at, all they really care about is the exterior. They want to make sure the community is uniformed with what the developer has in mind for the community. And it's just making sure if you're going to change anything outside or add anything to the house, that it looks uniform with the rest of the community. Now, you have other HOAs where they will go up to your yard with a yardstick and you're 0.5 of an inch too high on your grass, like you're going to know about it. So,
I feel like I feel like there should be a website, you know, like, are we dating the same guy? There should be like a vibe check. There should be a vibe check for different communities. Like, what is the vibe? Are we really strict? Because people should be allowed to know that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Are my neighbors going to be really strict about things because I want that? Or are they not going to be strict about things because I don't want that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the time you can find community Facebook pages, and depending on the rules, and like this is where you can really start to tell if there's a list of questions you have to answer before getting into the group Facebook page. You know, that can kind of set
what you're
the
dealing
mood,
with.
right?
That's a
What's
good
your
tip.
That
address?
is a
What date did you
great-
settle? Who did this? Who did that? Like, you know, what color is your house? So, if you want to catch the vibe of the community, definitely go on the Facebook page and say, hey, considering moving, what is some feedback you have for me as someone who lives there? You know, I'm in the community every day that I work, but I'm only there during the day. I don't know what goes on after hours or when I'm not there. And I'm just the face that gets you into the house. I'm not living next to you. So I can be the best resource I can be for the purchase process, but in terms of what it's like living there. And one of the nice things about new construction, moving into everybody's new. You know what I mean? Everybody that lives next to you, you all have moved in around the same time.
Yeah.
Which is cool because a lot of the times you can meet your neighbors because everybody's moving in at the same time. And there's no, you know, when you go into a more established community, there's that one house. That person has been there since the beginning in 1980. And you know, now you're moving in. It's like, oh my gosh, all these people are moving out, moving in. New construction, everybody's new. There's no superiority.
Yeah. You're kind of building that community together.
Yep.
Exactly.
I love that. Yeah.
So what are some of the things you guys, I mean, I have a whole list because I just toured a million new construction homes the other week. And so I have like a whole fresh list. But do you guys have any thoughts on some of the features we're seeing in new construction?
Black windows I'm seeing a lot of that now. I kind of like it though.
I like the black windows. I know we talked about this before. Like, is it gonna, you know,
Is it going to date the house?
Yeah. Like, is it gonna stick around, or is it gonna be one of those things where, you know, it's a huge expense later on, and you kind of, or you're over it.
I have
like
a
it.
strong opinion on them.
I think it's going to stick for a little bit. My thing with black windows is if, you know, with builders, they give you the option of black windows. If you're going to do the black windows, I feel like every house needs to have black windows. It just makes it look a little bit more uniform.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, I'm just going to jump in with my.
Yeah.
Okay.
You recently, she went on a tour of a ton of new construction.
What is the deal, Jake,
Here we go.
with luxury housing and vinyl flooring? I will never understand this. I toured $600,000, $700,000, $850,000 houses, and they all had vinyl flooring. Where's the hardwood?
So when you say vinyl, do you mean like the sheet vinyl?
No, vinyl plank. I mean, luxury.
Luxury vinyl plank. It really, I mean, it comes down to the livability of your house, right? Hardwood, it's beautiful, it's great. It's also easy to scratch and it's not as water resistant. So these luxury vinyl planks, you know, the idea behind it gives you the look of wood, but it gives you the sustainability of vinyl. Now, if you want to do the hardwood, go for the hardwood. But if you have kids, dogs, you know, for a house that you're spending a lot of money on, like the upper 800s, I would definitely expect hardwood. So I'm on you with that.
Yeah.
But LVP is the thing.
I'm
here for it.
I can see it for a certain price point and below, but I feel like once you get up above a certain price point, like you should have hardwood floors.
That's because you were touring like 800
Yeah.
homes. Yeah.
And these were quick deliveries, so the builder had already picked all of the features out. There was no customization for the client at this point. But if you're a builder building an $840,000 house and you're putting LVP across it, I feel like that was a huge miss.
Yeah.
My clients were not impressed. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I'll stand on that hill and
You're going to be there by yourself.
I will die on that hill.
I do love hardwood, and in a pricier home, yeah, I would want to see it for sure. My thing is, I was thinking about like all the the technology that's built into the homes now. It's so wild to me, like the different things that they have, and it's really cool. But then I sit and think about it, and I'm like, it's kind of like when you buy like the brand new Mercedes Benz, and they have like all of like this computer, these computers working the car, or like the Tesla, right? And it's like, it's more expensive to fix when it breaks. So like, that's my concern. So, you're touring, you're like, wow, this is great. But then I think about like, what happens?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I feel like technology moves so fast.
Yes.
It's going to be dated. And I remember when my mom built the house that she lives in now, and I want to say maybe in the 90s, she built this house. And she was so excited that it had a whole house vacuum, right?
Oh, wow.
That thing, I think, got used once, and it was this gigantic, like, huge tubes of, like, whatever. And now there's, like, holes in each room where you would connect this socket.
Yeah.
I just feel like
That's crazy. I've never even heard of that.
a whole, she was hyped about this whole house vacuum.
Yeah.
And we didn't use it because it was a pain in the butt. But I feel like that kind of technology is just, it gets outdated very quickly.
And that's a good point to make as well, is like, it's new today, but what about a couple of years from now? So that kind of concerns me, if, as a perspective of being a buyer, like, all right, this is really cool, but what happens when it breaks or it's outdated? Yeah.
Were you talking about the smart toilet? Somebody on last week was talking about
No.
the house comes with a smart toilet, and I was like, what is a smart toilet?
What is a smart toilet? Yeah. Is it like a...
I heard of
What
it,
are
and
you
I
do-
feel like
what
I
are-
should know.
What is it doing for me?
What do you need a smart toilet for?
Yeah. I can't get down with the faucets where like you just like move your hand and it comes on, because it's like I don't need water right now. Like I'm just over here. I'm just over here. Okay. Like well, you know me. I'm like, I like the older house anyway, like the charm of an older house. Although I do love the new freshness of new construction. My clients just purchased a beautiful home in Felton, and I'm walking through and I was like, wow, this is really nice. It's so clean and fresh and new. So.
What kind of upgrades would you suggest to a buyer? Like if they could do upgrades to the house?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have the ability to choose upgrades, I would say, again, something you need to prioritize. It can be very easy to get sucked down the hole of like finishes.
Yeah, I think like I would do that.
You want to prioritize your structural options. So moving walls, extending rooms, adding rooms, anything structurally that would be harder to do after the fact.
Okay.
Definitely go for it. And then electrical. That's another thing you need to figure out, like electrical, what's included. So we include a ceiling fan rough-in in every bedroom. Not everybody does. So if you know that you're going to want a ceiling fan here, here, and here, or you want pendant lights, you need to get those rough-ins in. In terms of finishes, depending on where you're at budget-wise, I would definitely say invest in your cabinets and your countertops. A nice kitchen is one of those things that you get to come home to, especially with a new house.
Right.
And then really, take the flooring that they give you. Get whatever you want. Get your hardwood, after you move in. Take the builder grade flooring because you're going to be moving in. And you don't want to mortgage flooring because, again,
Good
something
point.
that can be damaged easily.
Yeah.
So when you're better off paying for it out of pocket.
Okay.
Interesting. I agree 100% on all the structural stuff. I just helped my brother and sister-in-law in New Jersey pick out their house and which things. We had a very tight budget, and you actually helped. we were going and we were seeing it at the very end of 2024. And I was like, Jake, all right, I'm preparing for this meeting. And I just want to know like the questions to ask. And he was super helpful. But I think we got a great deal on that.
Yeah.
House. I say they got a great deal on this house. But they were trying to pick out what was the most important. And the builder was charging this massive amount for black fixtures, like the faucets and the handles. And I was like, guys, do not spend your money there. Put in a rough-in in the basement, because they were going to finish the basement. Put in a rough-in in the basement for a bathroom. I said, you don't have to finish it right now, but you're going to be using this space. Like that is something that you're not going to be able to do down the road. That's a way better investment. Not only, like you could never finish that basement, but your next buyer could. So resale value, that helps you.
Yeah.
And then another thing, my aunt built new construction in Middletown. And one of the things that she didn't realize was the recessed lighting. The models will have all these recessed lights, but depending on the builder, those might be additional. And you think, okay, well, the lighting is the lighting.
Right.
It's not. So you want to make sure when you're talking to them, like, are these lights the lights that are included in the package?
And that's something you have to think about. Now, when I did my new construction, when I was a realtor, we looked at the model and the recessed light, that was a big thing. Lighting was included, but recessed lights weren't included. So everywhere in the model, they upgraded to all recessed lighting. We didn't even see it as a line item in the options list. It was a custom request.
Oh, wow.
Everywhere where there was a recessed light in the model, she had a boob light. Everywhere else. They put them everywhere. So you have to just make sure that you're not going to get boob lights if you want a recessed light.
Nobody wants
Boob lights are out.
They're out.
Yeah.
And they're still, some people are still putting them in. So
It's amazing how much they look like boobs.
I have boob lights in my house, and we're looking to get them fixed. We're gonna
You
be
need a
calling
new
our
rack,
electrician.
girl.
yeah. Yeah. And also like in terms of upgrades, when it comes to like finishing structural things, so like a basement, for example, if your big thing is you want a finished basement, I know some people, that's the man cave. Builders, more often than not, are only going to finish off a small portion of it. So if you want to use your whole basement and finish off your whole basement, save the finished basement for later. Porches, decks, patios, they're only a small size in most cases. So I would definitely see if there is an option for like a deck or a porch, how big is it? And can you get a bigger deck or a nicer patio cheaper after the fact? So all these upgrades, you have to keep in mind that you'd be paying for them in your mortgage.
Yeah. That's such a good point. And I love having you as a resource. Like Kristen was saying, when we have new construction clients, I mean, how many times am I like texting you about something?
I know exactly when you have a new construction client.
I'm like, hey, and
Everyone.
I tell my clients, I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, my friend Jake, who was also my colleague, like he's in new construction. He always wanted to do new construction. That's what he's doing now. He has a love for it. He knows the ins and outs of new construction. So even though, the majority of my business is resale, I have this amazing resource for new construction. And I love having you as that resource. Grateful for you.
I love being a resource.
I'm trying to think of another feature.
I'll tell you one.
Okay, give
So
us your favorite or worst.
This is a bad one. We all know how I feel about white appliances.
Oh,
They're making a comeback.
not
They are with like gold handles. Or is that what you're?
Yeah. Yeah, still not into it.
I'm not into it either.
No.
Why?
That's another thing that I think would date it. Like, I just can't get the old white refrigerator out of my brain.
Yeah.
So when I see that, I'm like, oh, it has a white refrigerator.
Yeah, I don't. So you said why? Do you like them? Oh, okay. Why is like you're not?
yeah.
into it.
Like, why don't we just keep the stainless?
Stainless
Yeah.
is so classy. I
It gets so dirty.
I can get
Yeah,
down
true.
with the black stainless every once in a while if you do it right. But
Well, I think because you have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are these
my
wipes.
stainless appliances are
I can't
never
work
clean.
really
underneath
well.
The sink.
My
I have to
clients
do
tell me
it
about-
once a week. Yeah, to wipe down the refrigerator and the front of the stove. It's like a weekly thing. I get
I
what you
don't
mean.
have.
That's
I
the
don't have
thing with
energy for
stainless
that.
steel. You have to go with the grain. It's just like cleaning wood. So you can kind of see some of them are up and down, some of them are left or right.
Yeah.
Go with the grain.
Go with the grain.
I think you'll like your stainless steel a little bit more.
I mean, it's not that I don't like my stainless. It's very pretty, but it is always filthy. Always.
Prints.
Always. I mean, spills. I mean, just you'd think I live in a barn. And on that note, thank you so much for watching That Delaware podcast or listening in. We will catch you on the next one.
Bye.
See ya.
See you later.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of That Delaware Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at That Delaware Podcast and our team page at Rosaio Team _real estate. And of course, if you have any real estate or Delaware questions, feel free to reach out.